episode of Behind the Lens, and in today's episode I'm going to share to you why I bought the Fuji X-T20 instead of the X-E4 and the X-S10, the latest releases of Fuji. But before I do so, a bit of history. I bought the X-E1 about half a year ago. It's a camera from 2013, and I use it to make stills with. I was interested in the Fuji system for a very simple reason, is that A, regardless of the sensor, amazing image quality. B, because of the JPEG processing, so on Fuji cameras for photography it's really awesome, you can shoot predominantly JPEGs. And then number C, the film simulations. That is one great thing as well. There's a bunch of film simulations that you can use, from colored, deep colored, portrait orientated, and various styles of black and white, and all of them allow you to process your image straight into Lightroom, no raw editing, at least as little as possible, which makes it an interesting value proposition. So that's purely in terms of quality. What I also love about Fuji cameras is the design of the camera itself. As you can see here, this is awesome. You have here your shutter speeds, exposures, your function dials. You have a little button here which allows you to either manually focus, continuous focus, or single shot. They're combined with all that I just discussed before. You get a great value proposition, a great camera system for photography. So once I decided to upgrade this, my first initial thought was, let's go X-E2 or 3. I thought, I looked at them and I wasn't that impressed by them, by what they had in terms of specs, because this camera has an in-body display. It's not image stabilized, it's not weather resistant. So if you buy any of the X-E1, 2 or 3s, you need to have lenses with image stabilization, which I don't have for Fuji. So I looked at the X-E4 and I quickly came to the conclusion it's pretty much the upgrade I wanted. So it has a flip screen, it has even a touch screen. The ergonomics of it, they completely stripped it, so I really didn't like that. So I looked at that and I thought, that's interesting. So I thought, okay, then let's go to the X-T40, which doesn't exist. So I ended up with the X-S10, which is €100 more expensive than the X-E4. The X-E4 is €900 body only, and the XS10, the XS10 is €1,000. And for that €100 extra, you get in-body stabilization, and for the rest, the X-E4 and XS10, Jesus, all these X's, spec-wise, they're identical. Yes, I kid you not, they're identical. So what comes into it is that the XS10 has the DSLR, kind of the same as a Sony a6400 series, kind of the bigger grip, the in-body stabilization, and also the dials. They're fun. They still sport one of the dials, but it's far more entry friendly than, for instance, the XE series or most of the Fujifilm cameras are, because you have a steep learning curve. But I looked at it and I thought, hold on, that is €1,000. The X-E4 comes without any kind of ergonomics like grip, so you have to buy that into it. So that's another 150. Then you have the XS10, which is great. Both of them have great 4K abilities. So that really means that if you start recording video, then these cameras are an option. But I don't record video on my cameras that much. I have the DJI Pocket 2 I take everywhere because it's light, it's easy, it's no hassle. Comes with a audio transmitter with it, so I really don't see any point on spending on a camera which has awesome video abilities, but what's the point if I don't use it? If you are somebody who, let's say, takes the occasional still but really uses a camera for videography or cinematography, and then these cameras might be an option. I guess that you probably go for the XT4 or maybe one of the Sonys, but still, if you're into videography first, I definitely would recommend you look in the XE4 or the X-S10. Oh, why don't they call it the XT40? It's simpler. Anyways, what I did, then I thought, okay, let's go into some other cameras, some older ones. So I considered the XT30, which I think is a great camera, but it still comes in at a price point new of 700, and I couldn't find anything used under 500. So instead I focused on the XT20, partly because of its real design, and all that I had really was there, like, if I'm gonna find this second-hand occasion, which is not that difficult. Yeah, this camera is, I think, released in 2017, so it's not ancient. It's good for image quality. So, and I started looking, and by chance, I found in Luxembourg, I found this entire setup, which you can see here, with an additional grip. One of the things here, which I think Fuji doesn't do so well compared to other camera manufacturers, is really get a decent grip on things, lads. Simple grip on it, get a grip on it. Put a decent grip on your cameras and people will be happy, perfectly happy. But other than that, I would say, okay, I have the XT20, I have it now for a day. Yeah, so yeah, I would always recommend it. And the reason for it is as well, it's got the little screen here. It's got all the film simulations that you really want to have. It gives great image quality. I'm shooting again with it this afternoon. So if you're really considering buying a Fuji and you're not a person who shoots film first, I would definitely recommend, don't believe the hype, don't go for the latest models. The XT2 ranges, so the XT2 is kind of the flagship mid-range camera. Yeah, go for the XT2s or 3s or the XT20s or 30s. The XE2s and the XE3s I would personally not recommend, but that's a personal preference, you know. So if you really look into it, guys, be wise with your coin. This cost me 385 euros including shipping, and I have to say, pristine condition with the additional grip from Mikey. I'm sorted for my photography. Yeah? So there's a few examples here coming. I showed you a few earlier, but there's a few here more coming. So enjoy. Thank you very much for watching, and talk to you next week again.